Sitting here with Mike Martin, standing here with Mike Martin. Mate, you've got an incredible record in the 5.0 fleet. You know, like you've won a world champ as a crew and you've won, 4 world champs as a skipper. And you come from a region where you've got a lot of people that are world champs that you train with and race with. Just can you talk about how your little section of the US became so strong in the 5.0 class and what process you guys went through to improve so much?
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of an evolution. When I was sailing with Howie, I don't know, 25 years ago, he told me that one of his goals was to win the 5.0 Worlds. And I remember saying to him, like, well, that's a good goal, but what are you doing to achieve it? And what are your steps? And then, you know, he kind of was open to ideas. And so I kind of said, well, you know, this is what it's going to take. We got to get some people to train against, and, you know, we got to do this and we got to do that. And Howie, being the, you know, energetic guy he is, like, took all that information and started calling people. And the next thing I knew, you know, we had 4 or 5 boats, and our goal was just to collectively get better. And actually, it started as we realized for someone to push us and make us better, we had to make them better.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole philosophy is: try to get your tuning partner to be, you know, as faster than you, and then when they get faster, they tell you what they did, and you just start leapfrogging. So that's how it all started 25 years ago, and we've been lucky enough to sort of keep that culture the whole time.
It's called Team Tuesday. What I hear there is you didn't necessarily go, oh, we've got to focus on this. You've gone, okay, we've got to get a group together that's working together and sharing information. We can focus and improve in different places, you know. So get the group first and then find the focus.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And actually, sort of our training techniques have changed over the years.
Yeah.
We used to just line up, and lo and behold, we got to events and we were super fast, and we would just go super fast in the wrong way because we weren't practicing racing. We were just practicing going fast. So then we realized, like, okay, well, we actually need to practice racing. So we started making sure we had marks and doing starts and you know, tactics and all that. So, and sometimes we do just line up if we're testing stuff, but yeah, you definitely have to practice the racing as well.
So, and as part of that, you know, when you went through that process, you know, you went through the evolution with, like, testing equipment. So in the 5.0, it's one design, but it's within tolerances, so you can make changes. So you were changing centre boards, or you're coming up with different ways to set up the rig and all those sorts of processes, wasn't it?
Yeah, so again, you know, we were talking about changes and how he's like, oh, you know, I think we need to take a 0.5 millimeter of luff curve out of the main. And I was just like, listen, that's, you know, ridiculous. You can adjust that with the ram. Like, let's look at the boat in general and see what the, you know, the whole thing is. And that's where the whole high aspect centerboard thing came from. Is, you know, you look at the board and I'm like, how come there's this much empty space, you know, in the back of the case? And he goes, well, that's, you know, how long they are, you know. And then you sort of look up, well, how long can they be? And And so we started experimenting with the higher aspect boards. And so, yeah, there's been, you know, a bunch of equipment evolution over that time. And, you know, it's always good to every now and then sort of reassess and say, okay, well, what are the weak areas in the program, in training and in equipment?
I've got to say, mate, knowing you, as I do, it sounds like almost the process of what you do in your career that you're going through, almost exactly like this, where you develop, you know, someone comes up with ideas and you develop it, you know, like, and it's very natural for you, I think.
Yeah, I think there probably is a lot of similarities. I mean, a sailboat's a big engineering problem anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's probably a lot of similarities in a lot of things in development and in success in general, you know?
Yeah. You know, without giving any away, have you got things that you still want to work on? Like, are there stuff that you're still thinking about?
Yeah, you know, well, the biggest one really is sales. So, you know, for years we worked with Jay Glazier.
Yeah.
And yeah, we really kind of miss him not being there. But yeah, now we're working with Michael Babbage.
Yep.
So yeah, I really think these MEB sales are pretty good and really close, and I look forward to kind of working on those and refining those going forward.
I guess the other thing I should mention, just as a sort of getting to the end of it, that you've applied this not just in the 5.0s, but like with the 14 skiffs, there was that whole program when you guys went out and won world champs, in your little group, and then obviously did the 18 stuff, but so it transfers across all classes. That process.
Yeah. And that philosophy, if you can get that philosophy in, it's great. And it's funny, you look at our Team Tuesday, and really all the pieces have to fall in place. And some years, we have a really good group and everyone's got free time and everyone commits, and that was the situation sort of. If you look at the worlds that we've won, it's in the Team Tuesday leading up to that, we had a lot of participation and a lot of people really committed. And then sort of after San Francisco, Nick had shoulder surgery and Eric had a job that wasn't flexible, and we didn't really get much training in, and we didn't have a really good program, and you can see our results at the Worlds weren't as good. So I feel very fortunate when all the stars align and we can sort of get a good group and get a bunch of training.
One thing just specifically into the 5.0 class though, like you guys aren't secretive about your development, like you guys are happy for the class to grow. You look for improvement across the world, because you want the best competition. So that's one thing about you guys. You're not sort of, no one in this class shuts it down and keeps it secret. In fact, I actually remember a conversation where you guys are saying, you Australians, you just don't share information. You were giving us grief about our process. You could see guys were sailing well, but no one was sharing info, and you just tried to give us the boot up the arse that Australians needed, sort of thing.
Yeah, and like I said, that's a huge part of it. And you can see the results. And, before we started this Team Tuesday, it had been 25 years or something since an American had won the world.
Yeah.
And then since we started it, there's been, multiple Americans. And we're happy to share with the Americans. All the information we give you Aussies is wrong. No,
doesn't translate upside down.
Yeah, you got to flip it upside down. Yeah.
Yeah, no, excellent. I mean, it's a great process, and the rewards are there. Like as you say, your Team Tuesday has just been amazing. You've all got results, and it's impressive watching you guys sail. So congratulations on changing the way everyone thinks. I think you've improved the sport. And it's flowed into America's Cup and all the different things you guys get to do, because you guys are globally recognised. So,
yeah, thanks. And just unlike yesterday, seeing Nick and Eric, win the day with a 1-2. Yeah, just even though we had a bad day, it really made me happy that those guys crushed it. So there's a lot of rewards in that too.